Chapter 12, Episode 3, Final. I didn't bother finishing my lunch. My face-to-face meeting with Bricanna really put me off. Buki walked away from the table once Bricanna left. I wasn't too happy with what had just happened, so she decided to let me have some time to myself to let me cool off a bit. Our school isn't too strict on student behavior during lunchtime, so I thought a walk through some of the open areas of the campus would do the trick. I picked up materials scattered around the table and walked out the refectory. Once I was outside, I set my stuff down near an empty tree and just started walking. The breeze from early in the day blew through the grounds, chilling me a bit as I took my stroll. It felt nice. The sky was partly cloudy, but the clouds between themselves were few and far between, offering little shade for the midday sun. Not that shade was necessary. The sun warmed the air comfortably. All in all, it was what many people would call a beautiful day. I made my way to a nearby grass field, watching the blaze dance in the light wind. The grass was pretty tall, but it was well maintained so that it looked like the height was intentional. A few other students dotted the area. Some of them sat alone, taking in the atmosphere. Some of them sat with friends or with their dates, but it appeared that attendance go long enough to start relationships. I found a spot out of the way and plopped myself into the ground. Laying onto my back, I felt the breeze soothe my skin and relaxed. I closed my eyes and let the events from lunch play out through my head again. Thinking about it, I felt as though I overreacted to Bricanna talking to me. I don't know why I snapped though. Maybe it wasn't so much Bricanna herself that I didn't like, but what it was she represented. Rich people, in general, have always seemed to put themselves on a higher pedestal than the rest of society. Since there was a time they were dwarfed only by their egos. The belief that money would get them anything they wanted. My mom and dad worked hard for the lifestyle that we have now. Hunting aside, we aren't rich by any means, but I'm proud of the way we live because I know that my parents do the best they can with their skills. I wouldn't want to be rich. I can't imagine myself flaunting wealth like a peacock preening its feathers. That's kind of harsh, isn't it? A voice snapped me out of my thoughts. Or I thought they were thoughts. Maybe I only thought I was thinking, but wasn't really thinking in my head. Anyway, I sat straight and looked in the direction of the voice. Buki had tracked me down and was sitting next to me with a smile on. Usually when she smiles, it means she's got some kind of shenanigans in mind. She didn't like people knowing she was a ninja, but it made it easier for her to make people's lives a little more miserable. This time though, she had on a warmer smile than usual. "Oh, hey," I said. "Math working on his own again, huh?" She nodded. "So, are you feeling better about what happened?" I sighed. "Yeah, I think I overreacted. It wasn't quite fair of me to snap at her for something that I should have known she'd know about. I might have reacted a bit myself. For some reason, it didn't occur to me that she would actually approach in person and ask about your, well," she hung off, unsure of how to finish. I don't blame her. I wasn't quite sure about how to finish that either. I did, however, know how to lighten the mood a bit. I smiled. "What's this? Our resident ninja girl didn't see something happening? It's the end of the world." Ibuki rolled her eyes and smiled again. "Shut up." I sighed again. I think I owe Bricanna an apology. Maybe. Maybe she owes you one too. Ibuki says we both stood up. After all, she did kind of push her way into our conversation uninvited. I should probably apologize for digging around behind her back. I threw my hands in the air dramatically. "I want to apologize for everyone," I cried out, hoping not to embarrass myself in front of the other students in the field. A moment of silence passed before either of us made another sound. We both laughed. If it gets laughed out of my friends, especially my best friend, I'm more than willing to make myself look like an idiot. To an extent. I looked at my watch, noting the time. We only had a few minutes left for our lunch break. We'd better get moving. It wouldn't be good for us to be late. Buki nodded and followed me as we made our way back toward the buildings. I stopped suddenly when a thought came across my mind. "Something wrong, Iris?" Buki asked, stopping as well. I turned around with a panicked expression on my face. "I can't remember where I left my stuff." Ibuki rolled her eyes and tapped her foot impatiently. I raised an eyebrow, wondering what exactly she was unhappy about. I looked down to see her foot going up and down before I noticed that she was carrying more items on her arms than she needed for her classes. Wait, extra stuff? I pointed at a pile on her left arm. "Is that mine?" "Yes, you dolt," she said, stuffing a laugh. "Next time, don't just leave your stuff lying around." "Yes, mother," I said sarcastically. I relieved her of my belongings and gave her a quick hug and thanks. "I'd better get going. I'll see you in a little while." "Yeah, see ya." With that, Ibuki walked to her own classes. I turned around and started toward the main building from my music class. As I walked, I told myself that the next time I see Berkana, I'd apologize to her for being rude to her. It didn't take long after that for me to see her again. She was walking into the same building I was. I picked up my pace and catch up to where she was. Miss Berkana! I called out to her once I was close enough. She didn't seem to hear me, since she didn't respond or turn around. I closed the dance a little more before trying again. Miss Berkana! She heard me that time and turned to face me, that same spark still on her face. Ah, Miss Sakamoto. Is there something I could help you with? Well, I said nervously, I'm not very strong when it comes to apologies. I want to apologize for my behavior earlier. Berkana didn't react much. She set a hand on her hip and raised an eyebrow, not losing that spark. I overreacted early when we talked at lunch. Did you now? She said smugly. I started getting the feeling that I wasn't being taken seriously. Yes, I did. I was out of line and shouldn't have snapped. I shouldn't have judged you either. I bowed. I'm sorry. Most of the silence passed between us. I knew she hadn't ignored me and walked away, because I still could see those awful-looking slacks and shoes. Nobody could make those ugly clothes look good. I closed my eyes and took as deep breath as I could while I was bent forward. Turned out to be a mistake on my part. I felt something hard slam on my shoulder. The impact forced me down to one knee and knocked everything out from under my arm. My eyes shot over to see her heel on my shoulder. A happy slap pierced through the otherwise silent scene. How pathetic, she sneered over me. Proper apology should be delivered down on one knee. I clutched my throbbing shoulder. I thought it might have been separated from the hit. What's wrong with you? I groaned in pain. You're pathetic, Berkana's smirk grew. Who makes you think I care about anything you have to say? She dug her hand to my shoulder, increasing the pain I felt. All you are to me is a patient, and all a patient is good for is for profit. I pushed her foot off of me and stood up with an angry glare on my face. And here I was told I was wrong about you. Oh, wrong about what exactly? I sparked myself as I shook the pain on my arm. I thought maybe I was wrong when I assumed you want to pick up spoiled bras like you tend to be. Seems like I gave you too much credit. Berkana brushed her hair with her hand. A peacock, you say? Well, they are what the beautiful birds. I brought a finger to my chin and mocked thought. Now that I think about it, a spoiled bra like you is usually getting her way all the time, aren't you? Berkana's smirk grew. Why, yes. Yes, I am. My smirk. Then I guess I'm safe in assuming that dear old daddy mailed in those championships you've got. Her smirk vanished, replaced by a violent glare. I knew I had her. You watch what you say, you filthy commoner, she growled. Hey, everybody has a price, right? I don't think it'd be too much to pay out for competition. Turn the knife a little, please. Berkana got angrier. Her fist twisted as she held back her rage. After a few seconds, though, she took a deep breath, relaxed, and slapped a new smirk on her face. So, you doubt the skill that I have? She asked, trying to keep up appearances. She then stepped one foot back and fell into a fighting stance. Perhaps you would like to stroke my plumage, then? I fell back onto my own stance. Sure, just don't be upset if I ruffle your feathers a little. Neither of us moved for what seemed like forever. We stood silently, staring one another down. Possibilities of all kinds ran through my head. I could charge forward and kick or punch or kick her. I could dart in and bait her into an attack. I could sit and wait for her to make the first move. Or, I could stand here long enough for another breeze to blow a stray leaf into my eye and give her a perfect distraction. I shook the leaf on my eye and, before I knew it, Berkana moved in and threw a roundhouse kick at my head. I blocked it, smirked, and stepped in to throw a punch. My fist landed squarely on her chest, sending her tummy back into on her chest. Or sending her tummy back into her bottom. She clutched right head and cried in pain. Wow, looks like I was right, I said as I stepped close to glow in her face. Berkana volunteered to prove that it was a stupid mistake by sweeping my feet out from under me, forcing me to fall to my own backside. I didn't have time to wince in pain though, because Berkana picked herself up as I fell and slapped me in the chest with a kick. I fell back and bounced my head on the ground. I was just glad that we were fighting on grass, rather than pavement. I clutched my head and groaned in pain as Berkana stood over me. How pathetic, she sneered. A whiff of Disney-ness washed over me. To be defeated by such an amateur tactic. She then lifted a high leg in the air. Once the dizziness passed, I easily figured out what she was going to do. I rolled out of the way just as she brought her heel down right where my head used to be. Berkana smiled again. Well, so you can take a hit or two. I wonder how long you can last against me. picked myself up onto my feet, and fell back into my fighting stance. My head throbbed with every second. I hit my head fairly hard because I got overconfident and lazy. With my fist in front of me, I looked at the watch strapped around my wrist. Oh, how easy it would be to suit up. Kick the snot for right here and not give her a chance to stop me. Unfortunately, doing that would draw much more attention than I wanted. Not that we weren't getting any now. Several stone souls finally started to circle us, giving us a nearly impenetrable barrier for us. Cheers and murmurs came from the crowd. I did my best to tune them out and concentrate on the button in front of me that desperately needed to be kicked. It wasn't easy, since the crowd around us grew with every passing second. I shook my head sharply to try and ward off some of the pounding. It only took a second, if that long, but Rakana moved in again when I took my eyes off of her. She threw so many kicks at me I couldn't possibly block them all if I tried. Hard hits landed everywhere on my body, pushing me back toward the crowd. One final roundhouse sent me sprawling face first to the ground to an uproar of applause. Thanks, jerks. Support the snob. See if I care. Rakana slowly walked over to me as I writhed in pain on the ground. Everything from the waist up ached. I struggled to pick myself up, but doing that isn't exactly easy when your arms are sore. Rakana knelt down next to my head and brought her lips close to my ear. So, she whispered, barely audible over the cheering crowd. Do you doubt my skill now? I didn't answer. I was too preoccupied with trying to bring myself to my feet. That didn't sit too well with Rakana. She stepped away from my head. I had told her she was satisfied with me in a fight. I really needed to stop hoping for stuff. A massive wave of pain shot through my left leg. Rakana had gone down and contorted to an awkward angle. My eyes shot wide open and my back arced as I released the biggest cry of pain I can remember. While I cried out, I could see some of the faces stones that circles go from excited pity or fright at the sight. If I could have, I would have rolled my eyes. Don't just stand there, jerks. Help me out here. None of them bothered doing anything more than watch my leg get twisted in the most painful manner any of us had ever seen. Not that I was able to see what Rakana was doing, but the amount of agony going through me was enough to convince me of what was happening. It lasted for what seemed like forever. Rakana grunted. She yanked harder and increased the pressure. I was glad that she didn't go after my real leg. Otherwise, the turn down she could have done would have been more extensive than what she was causing now. Move! I heard a voice shout from among the crowd. Several stones moved out the way to let my savior for the moment through. Miss Fair, with the bouquet right behind her. What was with Miss Fair being the one that had my problems that day? And how did the bouquet know where I was? Oh well, don't look a give McKinley in the mouth, they say. Miss Fair shoved her Rakana off of me, forcing the pickaxe to let my leg go. The bouquet quickly knelt down beside me. Hey, she said wearily. Are you alright? No, I groaned through clenched teeth. I rolled onto my back and lifted my leg off the ground. I think something's torn. Boogie eyed my leg, then looked at the crowd. Think you can stand up? She asked as she took hold of my wrist. I nodded yes, though the pain tried to convince me to stay where I was. Ibuki slowly pulled me up, swinging my arm over her shoulder so that I could use it as a makeshift crutch while I kept my left leg off the ground. I had a little trouble balancing myself on my good leg, as the beats in my head started up again. It didn't help that Miss Fair chose a particular raise her voice. Miss Sakamoto, she nearly roared. Honestly, I expected much better behavior from the students of this academy. Clearly I expected too much from you. She turned to Rakana. And as for you, Miss Rakana, it wasn't my fault, she whined. Great. Now she's trying to pin the blame on me. You attacked me out of nowhere. It matters not. Considering your family, I expected far better from you. Clearly, I simply cannot be correct about anything today. You two are to visit the headmaster's office immediately. I groaned again, both in agony and in irritation. It wasn't bad enough that my head and leg were killing me, but now I have to prepare myself for 3 different yelling fits. This just wasn't my day. The fight was rushed, but I didn't want it to last too long. Fights at schools are never long anyway. New reference in this chapter. Take a guess if you dare. However, if you don't spot it, feel free to turn in your favorite gang fan card at any time.